Alright, and welcome to the final video in my new series on the horror genre, the follow-up to my Horror 101 series. That one was more about the basic ideas behind horror. This is application, conceptualizing a game, a horror game. Now this video is about how to put the whole thing together, kind of bring it home, recap, and the whole picture here as it stands so far. So what have we got so far? So our core story is that this is a group of paranormal investigators investigating a haunted mansion. Okay, we've kind of had the concept that it might be a museum. That one of the previous owners was really into the paranormal and macabre, gruesome things. So it could be a museum. It could just be a mansion, a haunted mansion, or it could be a mansion that's been turned into this kind of museum of the horror and the macabre, museum of the macabre, if you will. Both have things that could work, and with the modular concept that I've been talking about, both are possible, actually. So we have this group of paranormal investigators going into this haunted place, mansion or museum, or both. And from there, we're dealing with a modular design to both the setting, because every time you would start a new game, and possibly even during the game, the rooms would be different. And then also the stories that can occur in the game are going to be random, because each ghost will have its own story, its own backstory attached to it, and the ghost that will be involved in any particular playthrough will be random, so you'll get random stories seeded through from the ghosts. And then we'd have like 5 bigger stories directly related to the mansion as a whole, and things that happened in the mansion that would be seeded through, but not necessarily that they actually happened. They could just be stories, or they could have actually happened. One playthrough, you might run into the cult activity thing, and it's just a story. In another playthrough, you run into the cult activity stuff again, but it's true in this next playthrough. You just have these modular story elements that are seeded through the game, as well as the random rooms. And each room will have things associated with it, as well as each story having chains of things associated with it that once certain elements are in play, there's a chain of things that can lead to. It won't necessarily, but pretty much never will end in any kind of resolution or conclusion. There is no big truth that's going to be revealed at any time in this game. You're there to investigate the ghosts that are haunting this place, so it's really all about their stories. And then there will be other stories involving the mansion that will also be involved. So it's really all about different stories that are randomly in the game that you uncover over time that just kind of add spice to the whole thing. But again, tons and tons of replay value, because it'd take you ages just to get through all the different ghosts and rooms and all the different events that could possibly happen everywhere. Okay, and then that's really the setting and the danger level. I've talked about having kind of in the options for the game where the player, potentially backer, don't forget about Kickstarter. We could make this game. Don't forget that it is possible. People have raised the money to make games on Kickstarter. Do not think it's impossible, because it isn't. We could do this. Although this would probably be kind of an expensive project, but hey, horror games have gotten kind of popular. There's enough fans out there, we could make it happen. If you see this PewDiePie, talk about it. Let's see if we can make it happen. I would put you in the game somewhere. You would be one of the ghosts, Pewdie. And Markiplier, too. I like both of you guys. You're pretty funny. Yeah, I like either one of you will ever watch this. You never know. I suppose it's possible. Kickstarter for the win. And PewDiePie and Markiplier and others, you can be some of the ghosts. That would be funny as hell. Kind of creepy, too, in ways. You'd be a ghost surrounded by barrels. Anyway, kind of got off topic there. So yeah, Kickstarter, we can make this happen. But it would be kind of a big project, kind of expensive probably. But you know, Amnesia was made on a pretty small budget, and it's turned into a really big success. I think Magica is a comedy game that was made on a fairly small budget. It's a really good game, had some success. But back to the danger and the options and some of the randomness stuff. So the danger, we've talked about how we could have like a slider, or really just kind of like 4 or 5 different danger settings, to where you could either make it to where it, it's real dangerous or not really dangerous at all. Customize the game to your own preferences. More creepy versus danger, or more dangerous versus creepy. You know, lots of random stuff, lots of dynamics, which is just something I love. Being able, making it so players can make their own maps and stories and things, something I'd really want to have on there or in the game. Making it to where you can actually customize the settings so that you can have it either more survival horror or action horror, creepy versus adrenaline rush, all that good stuff. Making sure that what the character or the player does, the characters do via the player, so that the player character, the main character that the player is playing, whatever, you know what I mean, can trigger events, and so can the AI controlled characters. You know, yeah, that's really the game right there. I mean, I don't want to recap all of this stuff. The overall concept here is just this real modular, dynamic game with plenty of customization for the players and the options. Even if you just talk about like 3 or 4 things that they can control, like like the creepiness. That could just be a function of how often ghosts appear and other jump scares and things happen. If you have the creepiness factor turned up real high or all the way, then you're not going to have as many ghosts popping up, and you're just going to have more of the random events happening now and again, and occasionally a ghost will pop up. And the overall, effect would be to make a game that's a bit more of a slow burn creep out. Whereas if you have that setting up on adrenaline, then you're going to have lots of ghosts and lots of jump scares and lots of things happening that are meant to keep the heart pumping. That's one setting. The danger scale from not dangerous, so that the ghosts, all they can really do is scare you, all the way up to really dangerous, so all the ghosts can always really hurt you. Which would affect, we talked about the the kind of the background monitors of mental and physical stability for the characters. Each character would have their own monitors, but that the player can't see or anything. They're just kind of there. And you could add additional randomness by having their tolerance levels randomized when the game starts. So sometimes a character might be really capable of dealing with lots of crap, and other times they can't hardly deal with anything. Although with the PC controlled, the AI controlled characters, since they actually serve roles, that would not, you wouldn't want to randomize that too much. But you could randomize it a little bit, so you never really know exactly what what your character and the others are capable of handling. Which can lead to all sorts of crazy things happening, both with your character and them. That paranoia I talked about in earlier videos, with potentially possession and freaking out of the other characters in the game, human characters, living human characters. You know, yeah, just all sorts of stuff going on. I like the dynamics that you know, that I've been talking about and conceptualizing for this. You know, I just think this would be a badass game. And I hope you've gotten some inspiration for your own games or even stories and whatever it is you're wanting to work on in the horror genre. And, you know, like I said about the whole Kickstarter thing, we could actually make this game a reality. You know, just have to talk about it. So leave your questions, comments, and ideas for further videos in the comment section. Go ahead and share this video with all your horror buddies, your horror fan buddies, and Reddit and Facebook and other places and websites that are interested in horror stuff. Anybody that might be interested in the content of this video and this series as a whole, and the Horror 101 series as well, go ahead and share this with them so they can check it out, or the playlist. Subscribe so you know when I put other videos up, and give me that upvote for the video. That's always appreciated. And I think that wraps up this video, including all the good old YouTube stuff. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye bye. And stay creepy, people.